Hi, everyone. Great to see you again. Thank you so much for being here for another conversation today. This time, we're going to be talking to Emily Yonda again. You've seen her previously on at least one of my videos, and now we're going to be talking to her again. So, she's had a lot going on. We are going to be talking, among other things, about duality and judgment and that whole idea of beauty in the ugly. And then from there, she's going to also speak to the Nine White Sisters, as that is who she is a part of and connected to. And we're going to also be talking about the premise of her new book, Reset, that she's got published. And I'll give you the information below if you're interested in purchasing it. But she's going to give us a good sense of what that book is about and also walk us through some of that process so that you can also benefit from listening to this video. So I hope you enjoy the conversation with Emily and me today. So a couple things I just want to cover with you for those of you who might want a little extra information is what we've got going on now. All right. So what I'm noticing and getting information on is we have a lot of shedding of things that don't serve from more groups of people coming into the awakening journey. It's almost like I don't like to use first wave, second wave, and identify who's in what, but I'm seeing patterns of waves of people. And what I'm really seeing now is this, and it's not that we're ever done with that, but it becomes much more manageable and much more like kind of clearing out the dust in the corners and kind of getting our groove with our new frequency and vibration. But what a lot of people are doing now, and you may know this from people you know, they're coming into the journey of really working on their stuff, like getting down deep into why things are the way they are and have been in the journey. So that's something that I have noticed in clients, but also what I'll just say in kind of my frame of reference with respect to the collective as well, and also been given that information. Now, as we had mentioned, we have June, July, and August, which are full of opportunity. And we are being lifted up, is what they said to me and wanted me to share with you to understand that we are being lifted up. So they showed me a visual of, and it was more, it was very flowy, excuse me, very flowy, where we were individually picking our balloon and that balloon was taking us off. I don't know why I'm seeing Winnie the Pooh. That's so interesting. Winnie the Pooh just came in for reference. That's all I can tell you right now. But needless to say, the balloon and holding on to our own balloons, but it's a gentle lift off and we are going with this flow. Okay, now, as we know, everybody's going, but remember, it's kind of where you're at in the atmosphere. You know how I use the analogy of the plane on the runway and the bumpiness, and then you get to the nice, soft skies, right? But that's kind of what we're talking about here. So I heard the words, give yourself up to the flow. Okay. So really leaning in, giving yourself grace and leaning into the things that really move you, that really are present in the softest parts of your heart, of which you have passion for and desire to build, create, to do. So the message for this right now is give yourself up to the flow, because we are being buoyed very much by this solstice coming up. And I guess that's next week. I cannot believe it already, but hopefully if I can get the time, I'm going to do a little bit of a message for you for the solstice. Let's see. Solstice, okay, lift it up and give yourself up to the flow. And there's big shedding by other groups of people coming into this journey. So we're continuing to elevate as a collective. 2026 is massive for this. It is massive. And the thing is, as we know, it's showing up in the individual work that we do that rolls up into the collective over time. But 2026 is a big knock on the door. Okay. All right. So I'm going to send you over to Emily and myself having this conversation. I think you're going to really enjoy this. And then I will wrap up with you in the end. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, I've lived in Rome 20 years ago. I lived in Rome.
Oh, okay.
2 years.
Okay.
2 years. Yeah, that was exciting. That was magical time, I have to say. It was, really La Dolce Vita slash lot of traffic, dirty, crowded,
Uh-huh.
but that's Rome.
I
It's
was gonna say
it's
the good with
contrast.
the good with the
Yeah,
bad
both.
kind of thing. Yeah. But I mean, when you think about it, isn't that kind of life in general? You know what I mean? We get
It's
handed the beautiful things and then we got to do the struggle bus part. So,
you're just pinpointing, what we are going to talk about, the
oh,
duality,
good. Oh,
the
right.
polarity. I mean, yes, exactly. And
Okay. Well, that was supposed to happen, obviously.
that was supposed to happen, that noticing. I've been always attracted to noticing those moments, the beauty and the ugly, that, and looking for the beauty in the ugly. I really kind of thought that cannot be. It's just ugly, and who is judging anyway?
Mhm. Yeah, right.
No, for some, what's beautiful for me is not beautiful for you, maybe not
Right.
necessarily,
Right.
right?
And also that learning that comes with the ugly. Do you know what I mean? When I'm thinking of ugly right now, I'm thinking of like experiences that aren't enjoyable, right? Like we're having to go through. But I mean, oh my gosh, the learning that comes out of that, because you wouldn't have the learning if you didn't have the duality.
And you wouldn't have the beauty without the ugly.
Right.
Vice versa, yeah. So, but this is it. This is, the reset. My book. Oh, it's
I haven't seen
reverse.
it. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it. Oh my
my
Lord, that's
yeah.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
All right, I
I
gotta
don't know
write that
why
down.
it's turned. I need to adjust the
Oh, the background
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you can see it.
So I published in April.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you. But it's about, it is very much about a duality that we want only the beauty, we want only the good, and you know, judging anything else which is not on our wish list, saying, okay, this is, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Really not going deeper into, if we got everything on our wish list, life would be pretty monotonous, right? Pretty boring, pretty.
Yes.
I
Because
mean, what would be
you
the
wouldn't have
point?
any spectrum. You know what I mean? There'd be no gradation of experience.
No gradation,
No.
no sense of, or yeah, sense of achievement.
In fact, I got to insert something that seems kind of off, but it's funny. I have a client who she's, everybody has their own thing going on. It's so interesting to see that. But she remembers the time where she was just an orb, which you could maybe argue maybe that's all we are, right? As a soul, like we're flying out there. I don't know. But she says, I remember being an orb and there was really nothing. It was boring because there was no real experience of what you're talking about. And she says, I just was there and there was nothing like to show, like you just said, good, bad, decision making, nothing along those lines, beauty, ugly. It's just, I think that's so interesting to think about. And so she just popped into my mind and like just, and we talk a lot about just being, but that doesn't mean we don't experience still.
Mm, mm. Yeah, and being in that experience, in whatever the experience is, I think maybe reflection on that, like great example, just being the orb and being, in the light, and just, okay, it seems beautiful. It seems like, wow, that's what
Yeah,
we want, actually, floating around and,
yeah.
having no worries, being taken care of, but actually really no.
And those were her words. She goes, and it was boring. I just
Yeah,
remember it was boring. And
yeah.
I can see where we would enjoy that for a moment. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, where's the experience? You know what I mean? And
And that's what we only imagine, that the source of all probably was experiencing as well,
oh, that's a
Okay,
good point. Yes.
yeah. So let's have some fun, whatever that fun is. And to have fun, it means that there are days we don't have fun, you know.
Well, and now you're talking, okay, so something just popped in that you're talking about source in that situation. And all of a sudden realizing, sounds interesting. All of a sudden realizing the power that is available as source, but then saying, oh, we need to create experience. So like then creating out of that power. Does that make sense? Realizing, like you said, oh, I'm just energy. What do I do with this to have an experience? And then
Yeah,
that's how creation starts.
yeah. And having an experience means, probably, I mean, imagine you exist for trillions, million, yeah, I don't know, trillions of aeons. And so you do need to create all sorts of different experiences because otherwise you get bored, So you really have to be very creative
Yeah.
and getting all nuances of beingness, like now we are, our case is being a human being, but so how do you play with that? If we
Right.
were all the same, well, that's not really fun. So we need those facets, those different aspects.
Well, and it's
Um,
interesting you say that because was brought through to me at one time, and maybe I told you this, but and I've shared this before, is that the Big Bang was that explosion of everything that could possibly be, if you want to call it the Big Bang, explosion of everything that could possibly be. And then they said everything that you want to try or do or anything that could ever be is out there. It's already there. That was the Big Bang, or how whatever you want to call it, the big explosion of creativity. And us in those fractal forms of source being able to pick and choose all the things that are out there to do and experience. So I thought that it's a really interesting visual, but it kind of speaks to that.
it does. And then also, what's genius is that we have the illusion of creating,
Yeah,
which, as you
yeah.
said, maybe we're just picking up or just, who knows? We're just living out whatever is pre-planned, but we have the illusion of, okay, if I do this, if I do that, might be already there.
Mhm.
Everything might be just the choice, the choice points where we pick and,
Yeah.
could
And
be, but
alignment
what do
with
we
our
know?
Yeah, and the frequency or vibration we're in. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, what do you
mm.
attract into your journey? Is it a matter of just aligning, which I have a tendency to feel that is very much part of this, is aligning with that frequency and continuing by doing the work that we do, right, individually in this journey. And then
Yeah.
we start aligning with higher vibration or frequency kinds of experiences and things that serve us.
Yes, so we kind of jump up the level or
Yeah,
shift to yeah, we that's perhaps the only choice we have.
right.
What do I at which level do I want to experience this reality? So perhaps, because nothing stops us to stay in the mud, for example, if we want to. And then we probably stay there because that's what we decide to. So yeah, that jumping in frequency is maybe the only choice.
Mhm.
Could be.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm. But that's why we are also so drawn to raising our frequency, right? Because it does feel better. It does feel lighter. It does feel, we are going towards the orb
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, right.
But
Well, yeah, kind of. I know. I think the orb experience, so to me, feels more like you're going to have the orb experience, but with a higher vibration in essence, to have the experiences of higher vibration things. So they're going to feel better to you, right? Like when we shift and change our icky habits that we've all kind of gone into, whatever it is, when we start shifting out of those things, we start feeling better about ourselves, the things we do to help ourselves along the journey and shedding all of that, that then gives us more of the, I don't want to call it utopia, but feel of like, oh, I'm really creating the life that I want.
it does, and I guess what I'm getting always receiving from the nine white sisters, the nine galactic emanations is that with that experience that it's you doing it, you are empowering yourself, you're, becoming that sovereign, which we all are from the beginning, but we just forget that.
Yeah.
So by realizing, oh, I'm doing this because I'm shifting the frequency, and okay, I have my methods, and there are different ways how we can do that. But it feels, that's the empowerment when we feel better because we take that responsibility. And that's the taking that responsibility
Mhm.
of our life doing, is that power, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And then making those new choices that serve us versus the ones that don't and haven't, and that we maybe thought did previously, just because of maybe it's a collective thing too, right? That we think it serves us, but it really doesn't. Then we pop out of that, and then we're able to, they're just showing this, they're showing like to grab a higher star, to, further away, to grab like,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
a different
mm,
experience at a higher vibration because we have moved out of that like um kind of little bit of a prison we've created for ourselves because we think we have to
mhm,
do things a certain way. And then we realize this doesn't serve. And then we're able to reach to that higher point, that higher
mhm.
experience.
Yeah, yeah. The search, what I always feel, what I always, get the image of, the highest search, or the most important search, is the search for freedom. And as you said, either it's the personal prison, or the collective one, both, when we do get that realization. So example of, my own example, I've been moving around in my life and always been in the search of freedom. I just can't stand when somebody is, or something is containing me, especially if it's in kind of control thing. But I realized that, it's later discovery, personal discovery, is that somehow I knew always on the deeper level. I just didn't want to admit it, is that actually the biggest prison I'm creating is myself.
Oh God, I know.
Because comparing to many other people, I'm so free. I'm freer than, many. I'm kind of nomadic,
Mhm.
on nomadic journey and adventure. My children are, grown up and independent. So it's the inner, the habits, or the way of perceiving things, that is the biggest prison. I'm sure so many wonderful philosophers, they already said that, so many times. But I think we all need to experience it on our own,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, it's an experience. I don't think it can be spoken to, but it's not understood until you go through it.
No. Mm-mm. Has to be that, really, that um yeah, that innate knowingness, or the inner knowingness, just really coming as the aha. Which is, sometimes when I have those ahas, I think, yeah, okay, well, it's pretty obvious, okay. It
Yeah.
took you so many so many
Oh, I
years.
know. Why is that?
Because, and I've been reflecting on that a lot as well while writing the book, that kind of, and I'm discussing it, with people, is the arrogance of the human, of the ego.
Mhm.
Okay, it's really very intelligent. I would never describe myself as arrogant person. I'm not. I believe I'm not towards other people, or but I can have the moments of arrogance in beliefs, like,
Yeah.
I know this. I already, transitioned that. I'm already kind of knowing that part. I don't need to do this work. Like, and then getting the the reminder
Oh, yeah.
that, well, maybe you do, darling.
Is it,
Maybe you
isn't it
still have some
interesting?
work to
Yes.
be.
It's kind of like just as you start to, like you said, recognize, oh, I kind of know. Then you get, I don't know if you've noticed this, but more immediately, and they can be little things, but a
Mhm.
lesson like, oh, here, let's show you. Let me just show you, where you got some shade.
Yeah. And yes, absolutely. I have that regularly with, I do a work with quantum DNA and, Merkaba activation and very, I would say, high frequency work with the nine white sisters of Atlantis, and all that. And I really get very often in the feeling of, I don't need to do any clearing, energy clearing, I'm just untouchable because
Oh, yeah.
I'm vibing so high. And okay, I am, but not all the time.
Right, right.
So, the moments where I'm not that high vibrationally, there can be moments where I feel like, why am I so restless? What's with my energy? What? Okay, maybe I should, do some
Mhm.
energy
Oh, yeah.
on me.
Oh, yeah. No, we get those little reminders all the time. Yep.
And I'm really not, I really don't like much using the word protection. I really don't like to encourage people to be overly looking over their shoulder,
Oh,
where is
totally agree with you.
the negative
Yes.
energy coming at me, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
because that's not at all the purpose of anything. And for me, really, I'm so convinced, and I see it in my work. The more you do that work on yourself, the more you raise your
Hmm.
frequency, your consciousness, you do radiate differently. So you don't get, attacks or so,
Yeah.
not at the usual level, but being careful anyway, being aware of
Right.
what
Right.
is happening with your energy field and what are your thoughts and where are you at? Where do you put your focus?
Mhm.
Because that can bring in other
Oh,
influences,
yeah. Totally agree with you. It's funny you say that because when I spent, I think I told you this, I spent 2 years going through some really terrible energetic situations, but it all was purposeful because it taught me what part of my purpose is, and now I understand it. But point is they were terrible energetic issues, and I was scared to death. I thought I was being possessed, all the fear stuff, right? Possessed, uh, you know, rather than, and I had to get to this point, but it was a 2 year journey, get to this point where I realized, oh, wait a minute, this isn't anything to be scared of. Part of the time, it was my own old stuff showing up in an energetic way to work through that, right? And also past life energy coming through. So a lot of it, because we're creator beings, think what we've created over the eons, right? And now we got to get rid of that. But point is it took me quite a while to get over this idea of, like we're taught that there's the devil and the demon and the all of that. And I do know they're difficult energies, but at the same time, when we start reframing that and understanding that it's frequency and energy and vibration and that we can work through a lot of that, I mean, it changes everything.
It does. It really does. And here comes again the duality and, the judgment of that duality,
Oh
the
yeah, good point.
judgment of what we are experiencing. Because when we go, when we watch a movie, which is, could be, a horror movie,
Mm.
you watch it and okay, this is not gonna maybe, maybe touch me, So this is just a movie. You watch it with certain discernment. But when it's happening in your own life, then there is the incredible judgment of that I don't want this. So so the judgment of what we don't want, and that is for me, the judgment creates the trauma. The judgment creates the fear.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's the judgment
Oh, okay. That
because
makes so much sense now that you
yeah,
talk about, yes, the judgment creates the trauma. Yes. Because you're creating that feeling in a way, and then you
yeah,
create then
yeah,
then the emotion comes from the feeling.
yeah, of the unwanted. I don't
Oh,
want this. I'm scared of this. I don't want this because it brings me the feeling of fear. And what am I fearing? Maybe I'm fearing the unknown. and I don't want that. I feel scared or I feel abandoned because somebody just left, but they just left. Maybe they didn't left you, you know, with any bad intentions. Maybe they just left. But for us, okay, there comes the ancestral trauma, ancestral programming in that, and then the memory. But still, there is a judgment. If we didn't have that programming,
Oh,
for
yeah.
we would just be observing what is happening. And this is how we are when we do that work on ourselves, when we do clear those programs. Then suddenly, like what I have with people when we do the reset with them, okay, they what they say is, well, suddenly, there is no, I feel kind of detachment from what's happening. I'm more observing what's happening. I'm not anymore involved negatively in that. And that's very pleasant because it means I'm observing what's happening in my life and I'm not judging it.
Oh, yeah. And you know what I'm getting? Tell me if you feel if this connects with what you get, is that as we do the judging versus what your folks are doing now, being able to observe from afar, as we do the judging, we can create more energy around it, and it becomes we create more of what we don't want around that, and we create a
Yeah,
story around it, which then creates makes the thing bigger. Does that make sense?
completely. We anchor deeper in our reality. The more we judge, the more we observe that judgment and unwanted, we anchor it more, so we make it more real
Yes.
and and more, heavy and sticky and whatever quality it brings. So yes, absolutely.
Because this is so interesting. We're talking about this part. This is part I hadn't really connected in with, but as we do the observing and the stepping back from and just being and going through the process, we're also able to learn more from it, and that we don't create the story of the energy around it so it becomes so much bigger than overtakes us, then it reinforces, oh my gosh, it's like a loop, then reinforces our old belief system and it just gets stronger.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, that's probably
And
how
when
we've
you
gotten to
think,
where we are today in the collective, if you think about
yeah, yeah, completely, completely. Just repeating old and reinforcing it
it.
by
Yeah,
giving it an attention. That's why,
yeah.
we know it. We should not give attention to what we don't want in our life, whether it's individual or collective.
Yes.
So absolutely. And when we step out of that, when we do the reset, that's you step out of that judgment. And then you can actually, what I'm experiencing as well is, so many, in so many ways, um, you just enjoy the life more.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, so I give you an example. I don't know if I already told you, but I had a little car crash.
No, I don't think so.
So, it was really, really the stupidest car crash you can have. So I forgot to put handbrake on, and the car started rolling down the how do you call it, slope, the driveway.
Were you in it?
No, I wasn't. I was opening the gate.
Oh,
Okay,
oh, I see it.
but
It's going back. It's going backwards.
yeah, and I didn't see it. No, forward. So I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
see it. I had my back, and it pushed me towards the gate. So I was lucky. I could have been under the car because the slope is quite steep, and it crashed in the wall in. And while I was then I turned, I didn't know what was happening. Something pushed me, and then I turned around. I can see the car going and crashing. I can see what happened, and half of the car, the front, destroyed completely. But the engine and everything, this is the incredible gift,
Uh-huh.
untouched. So only the carrossery. Do you say carrossery in English? Maybe. And so, but while I was observing that, I remember the just wonder. What's happening? I didn't know, it didn't really
Yeah,
occur to me.
right.
Then I understood and it happened. And the whole period from the crash where people, they kind of were running towards me, they thought I was under the car, all that. And I, till, calling insurance and getting kind of all the practical done, and my knee was hurting. And so, but I was observing. I was in that observing mode, and there was zero fear. If this had happened even half a year ago, I would say, I would have that so much fear in me. What am I going to do? I could have been dead. I could have just really observing, and actually really almost immediately said, this must happen for something good. Where is the gift? And the gifts were coming. Incredibly helpful people. Insurance paid everything, almost everything. Just really great experience. Okay, I couldn't be discovering this beautiful area here for a month because it took some time, the repair of the car. But it made me to finish my book.
Oh, oh, that's what happens. I swear, like the universe will come in and kind of knock you down in a way so you can do another thing.
Yeah,
That's what happened. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. That's a common thing across my clients.
Wow. Is it? Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I just talked to somebody yesterday where I won't give away the story, but it's very similar. And I see this. It's different scenario, but it's very similar where they get taken out of commission for in whatever way to do something else, and there was purpose in that. Oh yeah. It's almost like, okay, come on, hurry up. We need you to do the book.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're
And
gonna do the thing, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I felt I got it, I think already a couple of days after. I thought, okay, I think this is it, because because
Oh,
otherwise I really don't see what else.
no,
But the whole
that is a
process,
very common thing, I will tell you. So you
yeah,
fit right into that process that happens to people often.
yeah. So yeah. And
So
now I have a car which is even nicer than before,
oh, so
because
that happens. Yeah, that's what happens to. Yes, I know what you're saying. Oh my God. Yeah. And so to your point, like the duality, it's kind of that idea of the
yeah.
not great thing happening, and out of that comes this amazing situation that you would never have expected coming out of that.
Hmm. Yes.
So I'm so
And
curious. I want to hear about your book. Can you
yeah,
do you want to like talk about that a little bit? Like, because I'd love to hear more, and also if we're using this for a video, that way people will have some information too, and maybe a little summary. And
mhm.
where can you get it? Because I want to get a copy.
Well, it's all on Amazon. So
Oh,
there's
I
both
figured. Okay.
Kindle version and paperback,
Okay, good.
and
Okay.
it's in all the markets. Yeah,
Okay.
should be
Oh,
supposed to be.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That
Thank
must
you.
just feel like such an accomplishment. So within that period of time, that month, you sat down and you're not able to go anywhere and see the sights and all of that, and you sat and wrote the book.
Well, I have to finish the book. So I
Yeah.
started
Okay.
writing, last year already.
Yeah.
So it was basically just
Right.
finish, which is a
So it's
little
the
bit
hardest
hard because
part.
sorry?
That's the hardest part. Finishing or
Yeah,
starting
yeah,
something and then
yeah,
finishing it.
yeah. It is. It's the hardest part, and you need more focus on that. You need kind of more also bigger picture, because you just want it to make sense.
Mhm.
How it goes after the chapters after each other. And yeah, so I had all the time in the world to do that, and it felt actually really, it felt great. It was an immersion in what I have been living and experiencing the last year, since the nine white sisters of Atlantis
Oh, okay. So it's your
showed
personal
themselves,
experience. Yeah.
very much on the spring equinox
Mhm.
25. And very quickly on, I mean, I got to know I need to write a book, and I started writing The White Light, where I was explaining what was happening in Atlantis, that we were, doing our work in the White Temple and a lot of healing modalities and so on. And suddenly we came to a pause, and they said, now you need to write about a reset. So I paused the first one and I started writing the reset, which is by itself. It's a guidance, and it's a living transmission, I would say, I would call it book, so that when you read it, you do get energetic transmission. You
Oh
do
yeah.
get activation of certain codings, and
And
it
I just want to add something on that because what I was told way back, 8, 9 years ago when I started channeling poetry, which that for me was the strangest thing, channeling poetry, was they said people need to read it, just like you've got it in the book, right? They need to read it so they can get the codes. And I didn't even know what they were talking about. But yes, that is so true.
yeah, yes, and I had to, well, actually what I did was that I just wrote everything down I got, even though, it felt weird and
Oh yeah.
strange so to me. But I wrote it down, and when I read it now, when I look in the book, I think, who wrote this? This is so
Yes.
awesome. This is so clever. So,
Yes.
so why is it's not me? So yeah, it's a channel transmission, of course, so I can't take the credit. In a way I can, because I was one of them.
Yeah, you're
I was
part of
one of the
you're
nine white
part of
sisters.
that. Yeah. And
Yeah, I was part of the clan,
you
the
raised your
group.
hand to be the vessel in this lifetime.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What was I thinking?
Because so you're bringing through ancient information as well, utilizing that for the reset. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We were using the reset in Atlantean time, and not only in Atlantean time. So it's universal, basically, because the nine white sisters of Atlantis are the nine galactic emanations as well. So each reside in a different galaxy. So, nine galaxies are kind of being used in what they say. Those nine emanations are nine building aspects of a personality or identity, or individualization, well, whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And nine building aspects, and of course they are the primordial, the first nine building aspects. Then you can add and you can multiply 9 plus 9, and or 3, 6. They always work in those clusters. But the nine primal aspects are described, and they represent those. So they have a different charge, different emanation, different, feel. And each of us, we have all those nine within us.
Okay, that's
Those
what I
nine.
was going to say. So I was going to ask that question. We all have the nine and then they express uniquely. Is that how that works? They work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they express themselves uniquely, and then of course then they create this beautiful tapestry of an individualization. So they are each. That's why we are different, because we have different portions of those nine aspects, and we have them woven in different way, and then we have them distorted in different way because of the ancestral memories and traumas, and the judgment of
Yeah.
the duality. So that's why what they are doing here, what they come with, is emanating those pure aspects
Mhm.
and infusing us with that pure aspect, pure emanation, so that we activate those within us, while they neutralize the judgment, the duality that is distorting, that is not letting that pure emanation coming through.
So it's allowing the rise of the pure emanation and then the distortion to kind of sink to the bottom and dissolve out.
Dissolve, neutralize,
Dissolve out.
dissolve,
Yep.
gone. Yeah. And that doesn't take away our memory, of course, that doesn't take away our living experience, but it enhances it, it makes it more enjoyable and freer. That's actually the true sovereignty comes there, because then there is no self-sabotage, or less. Then there is less fear or no fear, or then there is not those blocking elements that keep us in struggles, or even triggers. Many of us, we worked enough on our traumas, but then there's always those triggers, which sometimes come
Right.
surprisingly.
Right. It's like remnants of, or a
Yeah,
reminder of, or
yeah,
like it's brought back to you so you don't step into it again, kind of thing. So you like know what you're looking at so you don't make that choice again. You know what I'm saying?
yes, yeah. And those reminiscences, we call them, residues. Those are which are treated by the reset. So the reset is basically for the people who've done a lot of work already, who understand the lesson, who understand why certain things have happened to them, and who are more just wondering, will I ever be free from this? Because it's maybe not a big issue, but it's still a little bit of an issue.
It's holding them back is what I keep getting, potentially.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the residues, they are what they are showing me always, they are entangled. I believe we already talked about this in our previous chat, they're entangled with each other. And that's why with normal trauma therapy, or even, quantum therapy at the DNA level, you can't really take it away. You can't really disentangle it, because it's woven into each other. It's woven in your personality as well, in a way. So this is possible with the reset. That's why it's quite revolutionary,
Yeah.
because otherwise you can't, otherwise it's always somehow, yeah, kept stuck in that your way of beingness, and often you just hold on to it
Right.
unknowingly, because you feel, well, this I must do.
Oh, totally. Yes. So so the book itself, do you offer like a process through which people can move through to do some of this work, or
Yes,
how does
yes,
that unfold?
yes.
Okay.
It's a workbook, so there is a
Oh,
process, and there is a really, yeah, it's, you can say it's a manual, plus um the story behind is, well, it is a living transmission, so it's written also in a very, that's why when I read it, I think that this is not me. This is
oh,
really
I get what
beautiful.
you're talking. Yes.
Oh yeah, so it's written in this very I would say mystical way, in a way, very simple language as well, simply described.
I'm just sitting here thinking of all the uses of this process for people that have an understanding. Like you said, it's not like they're not coming into this blind with their own situations, right? But then this actually takes them. Okay, so tell me if this is what I keep getting is it takes them from the place where they may feel blocked or not able to move forward, and they don't understand why, because they understand this journey to a good degree, but there's something going on that isn't allowing them to potentially get to where they want to. Does that resonate? And
Yes,
then
yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah,
reset process to be able to get past that chasm, right? Cross that chasm, and then start moving into that
yeah,
higher, what do you
absolutely,
call it?
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah, absolutely,
emanation,
exactly.
the emanation oh, I just got chills. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Okay.
It's exactly that. It's that I would call it maybe the last hurdle, or the last
Yeah.
block, or the last kind of where you know you've done so much work, but there is still something there, and you think, how much work do I have to do? I'm tired. It's like the just before the clearing
Yeah.
is that kind of the last little cloud, which is little
Uh-huh.
but feels big because you've been going through, so many clouds. And the last one is like, oh, okay, I can't even, I don't know.
Right. Oh gosh, I'm just thinking of some people right now too. That's so interesting. And I just heard the words liftoff, to allow liftoff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it bridges God, I have chills. It bridges the gap of
Yeah.
people who have gotten really to this point where they're like, oh my God, I've done so much work, but why can't this, whatever, right?
Mhm.
Or I just feel whatever, or how do I get past this? And then so this reset process comes in to help them then launch off into their,
That, that's it. That's it. And it's linked with I mean I finished like a month ago the nine-week process of reset. I had a group and we had each week we worked with one emanation, and
oh,
the change was just incredible of the people. I mean, in the end, it's like I can give an example of a beautiful client, and she had problems or difficulties in with people with controlling, not controlling, authoritative
oh,
people. Okay. And she's constantly put in situations where she's being tested, of course, as we do
isn't that, yes.
with those people. And at the end of, actually, in almost in the middle, from the middle to till the end of the process we've been through, she had one huge test because she had to go to the school of her child because he did something that, and she knew, okay, now they are going to be chastising me and my son, and I have to deal with that. And she was really worried about it. And she said it was just incredible, the change. I was there, I was just in my beingness, and I was observing what they were talking about. I was even able to see it as a little cinema and smile and responded in
It's,
full power. And and she never could have imagined that that would ever in her life take place.
and you know what I'm getting to is it presents in her situation as the example, the way she presented herself offers a more neutral energy, right? Like a neutral energy so that
Hmm.
instead of putting out I don't know, we'll just use an example of a fight response, which then creates more of that. Her neutral energy allowed, it's really interesting what I'm seeing, allowed the energy of what was being presented to her from either the teacher, principal, whatever, to flow. Like as
Yeah.
information, not as is that making
Yeah.
sense? Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
they're not doing this to each other, or she's not getting like and getting stomped on with that energy, but so she's neutral, so it flows through her and around her in a way that isn't obstructive.
Yes, beautifully, beautifully explained. What I see is also, there is no need to fight or defend.
What I was going to say is that lines up with what I'm being told we're being asked to do,
Mm.
is to do more of that in our day to day that will help
Yeah.
shift and change not only our journey, but the collective responses as well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let me understand. I know we talked about this previously, but just I want to repeat this. So you've got the book with it, which has the process, but then you have groups that you teach this process too, and you go through the course basically, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Through the course, and then of course I do connect there, with the nine white sisters of Atlantis.
Right.
So we do a direct transmission through me. And so that's, very fast and very quick shift disentanglement, neutralization. So that's what I do with the group, but I do also one-to-one sessions,
Oh,
of
you do?
course.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I was
yeah, yeah,
thinking. Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right.
Mm.
And your website has all that information on there.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Oh, this is so fascinating. I love that you have the book that aligns with all of your work. That's a lot. That is so fantastic. You know, a lot of us talk about writing books and it never happens. And I do think sometimes it's meant to mean something else for some people. You know what I mean? Like they often will use book as a way of like presenting out your information, but to actually do it is just something else. That's so wonderful.
And I never aspired to that, actually. I
Huh?
never thought I would write a book. I've written a lot of manuals and, guidance and so, but never a book. And I thought, yeah, okay, why? But I was asked to do that by them. And I was in a way, well, I don't think I had much to say. Of course, I could have obeyed, but disobeyed.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
could have
right.
perhaps, say, no way, I'm not. But I like the challenge. So,
Is there anything else you want to talk about with respect to all of this and what information you wanted to get out to people?
I always say, um, just if anything else fails, just laugh, have
Yeah.
fun. I know it doesn't really make sense, but I feel like sometimes we have we have those amazing tools, and the reset is really mind blowing. But then it also, and they say it in the book, they say, well, just play and have fun and don't take this too seriously because you're playing a role. We are healing, we are playing the role. If we are the fragments of the creative
Yes.
intelligence. So why not having fun with whatever we are immersed in? Just having fun
Yeah.
in that situation is already greatly transcending.
Yes. And I think
So
I think too, to add to that, the next thing I can hear myself saying sometimes, or somebody else saying, well, yeah, but what about all the difficult times, the horrible things that happen, and blah, 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 and all these struggles? And then I think that turns into finding the learning within it. Do you know what I mean? Finding the value within the something that you can take away from that helps you understand more the totality of your journey, the collective journey, and kind of why we're all here. Does that resonate?
yeah, yes. And how about asking what's the gift in that
There you
situation? Because
go.
everyone, like a little treasure hunt. So
Yes.
I'm maybe not in the best situation ever, but there must be a gift. There must be something because, it's testing a little bit the trust
Yeah.
in the universal order as well.
Yeah.
And to trust in our higher selves. And, why would we be led to not cool situations if there wasn't a
Yes.
gift?
And bottom line, how I kind of look at this, particularly these past couple of years, is everything we experience boils down to helping us open our hearts more. And sometimes
Yeah.
we have to find that, like, how do I open my heart more when this happened? But it's there. I mean, this is about opening our hearts more to ourselves and to the collective experience and the oneness.
Mhm.
So, oh, thank you. So this is so great. So, okay, so your book's on Amazon. Your website has all your information on the services you provide. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that conversation, took a few nuggets away for the puzzle of your own journey. If you want to reach out to me for any assistance along your journey at all, I primarily focus on helping you in your larger understanding of your soul journey, past, present, future, and within that, my specialties of spiritual awakening, mentoring, and past lives. I also do energy healing if you're interested in that as well. I would love to work with you. Please reach out to me through the form on my website, purplerainhealing.com, and I will respond back to you. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.